Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity with our Carnivore Q&A Thursday night live. We're going to be giving away some shirts. We're going to be answering your questions. We've got Adam Lacey, Lynn, Midlife Carnivore, Dr. Nelson, and Ashley from Carnivore Brothers here. I have a link in the description so you can follow each of them. And before we jump into it, I just want to announce real quick, we're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt so you can start posting your questions. We're going to be giving away this shirt in the color blue, so post your best question with hashtag ribeye. Hashtag ribeye, and in order to win, you have to use hashtag ribeye, and you have to be following each of the individuals here on the screen. Their links are in the description below. So we'll start taking some of those questions now. Ashley, what kind of events do we got coming up we can announce while people are jumping on here?
Well, I would like to actually mention personally an event we've got coming up in the DFW area. So if you live in the Texas area and you want to come hang out with some carnivores there, thanks, Kerry. You've got it up on screen there. We're doing a meetup on September 27th, just a small gathering, not a Healing Humanity event or anything too crazy, but we're going to go have some barbecue and then going to go to the Fort Worth rodeo afterwards, where Christopher Brandlin is going to ride a bull. We're all going to say a prayer he doesn't kill himself, but that should be quite interesting. So it's going to be fun. But Nia from Nia's Way is going to be there. People in the area who is great and has an amazing story of how she's healed from cancer. So we'll just have some good carnivore conversations at barbecue and then enjoy the rodeo.
Love it. And I have a link for that event. If you guys want to join Ashley, there's a link in the description. And
great. And after that, let's see, what do we got? We've got Healing Humanity live at Hack Your Health. That's in Tampa, Florida. If you haven't got your tickets for that, we've got a special VIP dinner that's being put on for us, which I think is just amazing. Scott, who puts on Meat Stock, is putting that together and has some incredible, look at that lineup of the people who are going to be there at that dinner. So if you ever wanted to come hang out and have a chance to meet with those folks, what a great opportunity that'll be. So I'm sure you have that link as well in the description, but it's also on our website. If you don't have it there, you can log on to the healinghumanity.movie/events website, and you can get the information and details there as well.
Absolutely. And there's a link in the description for that. And then we've got Meat Stock 2026. You can get $50 off using promo code Healing Humanity, meatstockconvention.com. All right. Should we take some questions? You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. We've got a question here from Hack and Slack. Hashtag ribeye. How can I encourage my kids to eat more meat and less of the unhealthy stuff like cereal? I get up early to make eggs, but they don't always go for them.
There's some carnivore kids books out there written by myself and Amy Haas. And our goal, and of course, that may not be the only thing, but I'm just saying, we make beef, bacon, butter, and eggs into superheroes in these books. And so our hope with these books is to, just like your kids are, the other side is exposing them to all sorts of fun things and commercials and putting cartoon characters on the cereal boxes. We're trying to do the other, which is give them something fun that will help them want to maybe ask for carnivore foods, because we show that they're the power foods and they're the foods that make you feel good and that make you smarter in school and less tummy aches. So you can definitely check that out on Amazon. I don't have any young kids. Any of you guys have any more ideas? Dr. Nelson?
Can you hear me, by the way?
We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it depends on the ages. Doesn't mention the ages. So smaller kids, you put what's on the table, and usually they'll eat the carnivore stuff. It's not like they'll have a repulsion to those foods like they might to broccoli. So it depends on the ages. When they're more adults, they are already making their own decisions. So just try different foods until you land on the ones that they like.
You can get them involved in cooking depending on the age. And sometimes kids will be excited to eat things that they have made themselves. I know that Courtney Luna has a really great cookbook, and she even has carnivore waffles in her cookbook. And so there may be some ways you can give them carnivore breakfast foods that are fun for them and maybe look a little bit more like the food that they're used to having.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Lynn, because my daughter, she's 16, and she does love to cook. And so that is something that I cook the meat and I do something simple, but a lot of times she sees those recipes. She loves watching Emma, her channel from Kerry's Mann daughter there, and we get some recipe ideas, and then she mimics those. And, especially when we praise her for the great food that she cooked, it's like, oh, that was really good. That's a great idea. That she loves to do that. And the other thing I was going to suggest is just make sure you do your best to eliminate those options that aren't carnivore. I mean, that's again kind of what Dr. Nelson said, what you put on the table, but also what you have in your house. What groceries are you buying? What are you supplying? And make sure that they know that these certain foods are not ones that we approve.
Yeah. And I'll share a little story. My youngest daughter, she's 29 now, but most people who know me, and she's shared this story, know me. All my children are adopted because I had PCOS, couldn't get pregnant. And she was in foster care. So she was 5.5 when we got her. She was in foster care, and she was abused in foster care. One of her foster moms, when she didn't want to eat her eggs, tied her with a dog leash to a bench and shoved scrambled eggs down her throat. And she could not eat, even though just the smell of eggs would trigger this memory for her. She developed PTSD. And so as she got to be, maybe middle school, maybe a little earlier, she said she wanted to like eggs. So that was a huge trauma associated with it. So the way we overcame that was I had encourage her to cook her own eggs. And so she did. She was willing to do that. And initially, she put so much seasoning on these eggs. They were barely palatable. I tasted them, and man, so much seasoning. But gradually over time, she was able to cut back on the seasoning. And now she can make eggs, and she's okay with them. So if she can overcome that after the trauma related to it, I really think that children can learn to like things. And just empower them to get involved in the process.
Good stuff. All right. Let's see. The next question we have. How do you guys make sure you're getting a good higher ratio of fat to protein when eating carnivore? Measure, or do you just guess?
I just guess. I just eat more fat. Just go for it. Tell yourself, I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but I always say, hey, put some more hair in your chest, right? That's what I was told when I grew up, if I needed to eat something that I didn't really want to eat. So just eat as much fat as you possibly can.
But maybe track, because you may be getting more fat than you realize, because there's a lot more calories with fat than with protein per unit of measurement. And so like if you track, you may be getting more than you realize. So, add a lot of butter to your meat. Maybe if you do drink coffee, maybe make some butter, like a buttered latte coffee. But until just track for a few days and see where you're at. And it depends too on your goals. So if you have, say, mental health issues or neurological issues, or sometimes like autoimmune, you may need a higher percentage of fat. If you're trying to lose weight, you may not need as much fat. I know with myself, I needed higher fat to heal, but for weight loss, I only need maybe no more than 60% of my calories from fat for weight loss, sometimes 50-50. So it just really depends on your goals. But I would absolutely recommend tracking for a few days just to get a baseline to see where you're at. And it helps you figure out, like, how much do I actually need to add in order to get the calories from fat that I need.
Julie, our friend Julie said, we're jumping on early. As soon as I saw your pictures with the new sweatshirts, I messaged Adam and said we can get them. Where can we get them? We ordered 2 sweatshirts. It's getting chilly here in Phoenixville.
Is that supposed to be Phoenix?
Phoenix? Julie, I think Julie's in Pennsylvania somewhere.
It can't be chilly in Phoenix this time of the year.
We do have new shirts, and they are available if you go, what is it, Adam? HealingHumanity.movie. You click on merch. I think all roads lead to the shirts from there.
That's where they are.
Shout out Adam. Adam came up. Adam, how did you come up with
cool
this
design, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was just inspired from a hiking shirt that I saw. It was actually quite a bit different, but as I got into working the design, I'm like, oh, that looks good. That looks good. Let's go with that. So that's what we ended up with.
Nice. I got a lot of comments when we were at Low Carb for Better Health. Even the guy at Culver's, the cashier at Culver's, said, I love your shirt. He wasn't even carnivore, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Carnivore Cash talked to 3 more people today about carnivore.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Get the word out. All right. We got a question from Crown of Curls 82, recently diagnosed with gastritis due to high stress over the past few months. I'm having a hard time eating due to nausea. Any tips to keep eating while trying to heal? Carnivore for 3 years.
What do you think, Dr. Nelson?
Eat fatty meat. Now, are you having nausea every time you eat? Maybe the gastritis is not completely healed or gone. In which case, I might use whatever medications your doctor has prescribed for a short period of time. And I don't know if there are other medications you're taking that may be causing nausea. You know, there's no more details, but broth, probably stay away from, definitely from all kinds of spices except for salt and fatty meat.
So I'd be wondering too if the fatty portion of it is maybe needing some digestive enzymes could be helpful. Because if with gastritis, I don't know if the fat is causing a problem. I don't know if you said you've been carnivore for 3 years. So obviously you're not at the very beginning, because sometimes people can have a little bit of nausea from the fat at the beginning. But obviously too, stress management, because if it's from high stress, I'm assuming that the diagnosis is after an upper endoscopy. I'm hoping that was the case, because then they would have ruled out H. pylori. Because if it was H. pylori, then obviously would be treat the H. pylori. But if it's truly from high stress, obviously stress management. But I'd be curious to see how you do if you possibly, added some digestive enzymes, if that would help. Maybe some, lipase or some ox bile, or just a general digestive enzyme with a bunch of different enzymes.
Back prior to carnivore, I was actually diagnosed with gastritis for the exact same reason. I was going through a divorce at the time, and they prescribed Nexium, and within a few days, that was able to get all of that situation basically under control and allow myself to heal. Now I know now that if I was eating carnivore then, it probably would have healed much more quickly. And also I have under my belt that being able to fast for a longer time would also help as well. So I don't know if maybe working in some of that. I'm not sure what your metrics are, how much, what you weigh, if you got any fat to lose or anything like that. So you definitely don't want to be fasting too much if you're underweight or don't have much to lose. But I know in the interim, modern medications can help. But like Dr. Nelson said, you want to make sure that you're probably not on that for too long.
Yeah, gastritis, in my experience in GI gastritis, it can take a few months to heal, and for that inflammation to go down. And hopefully on carnivore, that will be a lot shorter, so hopefully.
Mary says, hashtag ribeye. By the way, if you have a question, we're going to be doing a drawing for Healing Humanity shirt. So post your best question before we do the drawing with hashtag ribeye. My hair is thinning due to Hashimoto and muscles are achy. I'm 95% carnivore. How long before getting back to normal if I'm not 100%?
I would think that it has to do with what that other 5 to 10% is that you're eating. Because with Hashimoto's, it's, autoimmune disease. You may have some sensitivities to some of the things that you're eating. Could be even seasonings that could be causing problems. I don't know if you're using pepper, if you're using, to maybe take a look at the seasonings that you're using and see if any of those are high histamine. And then possibly some people will find that if they add some organ meat supplement, that it can help with the hair regrowth. I know Adam noticed that when he was using some organs, is that his hair was growing back thicker. You don't want to overdo it, and it could be too, you're not eating enough. I'd be concerned about the quantity of food that you're eating, if you're eating enough to support your hair growth, because that could be a problem too. Especially with us women, we tend to, all those years of being told we should restrict. I know I have a hard time getting enough food, and it does affect my hair growth.
And when in doubt, you can always go and have it checked. There are multiple vitamin deficiencies that may cause that, but doesn't say how long you've been carnivore. And you hit on something important, Lynn, that 5 to 10% might actually be foods that are contributing to the Hashimoto. So maybe trying a 30-day trial of elimination of everything, just red meat, water, salt, and see if that makes a difference. Certainly trying to increase your collagen from the food, bone broth, or meats or cuts with more connective tissue might be helpful. And that's all I have to say, because Lynn doesn't let me talk about hair loss.
You know what? Somewhere you got to have some credibility when it comes to hair.
Awesome. All right, another question. I love dairy such as milk, cheese, and cream. Are any of these carnivore compliant?
Yep, they all come from a cow.
Yep. But the caveat is some people don't do well with dairy, right? So it's not going to be the same for everybody, but they are carnivore compliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some things that come from, I'm sorry, Lynn, there are some things that do come from animal, but may not be the best for an individual person. Honey comes from a bee. That's sort of an animal. I don't think I would recommend people who are not metabolically healthy to be using any honey.
Well, there's things that come out of the back end of a cow too. That's from an animal. So.
Yeah. So dairy, it's really to grow baby cows. In humans, from mom is to grow baby humans. And you get to a certain age, you're not supposed to really be having milk. If you can have all these products and it's not a problem for you, then go at it. But when in doubt, if there is a problem, whether it's sensitivity or you're not losing weight and you wanted to lose weight, that could be the source.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, with the terminology carnivore compliant, I know there are carnivore groups that are very hardcore, and they'll really get on you if you eat anything that's not technically carnivore. And even though we do promote being strict, 100% carnivore, we also know that, we're all at our different place in our journey. And we try to be very, very non-judgmental and supportive, that if you need dairy, and, in order to help you stay carnivore, it's better than going back to eating the standard American diet. There's some people that eat a little veg, or they may add a little honey, like Dr. Kilt sometimes adds a little bit of honey, with his carnivore ice cream. It's not necessarily the best for you, but if it keeps you from going back to the standard American diet for where you're at in your journey right now, then, we're going to be supportive of doing what's best for you to get you to your health goals. So we're not going to pull your carnivore card.
we want you to be healthy. We're trying to heal humanity, right? So vegans are welcome if they want, although I don't think there are too many vegans here.
Well, and it technically, you can get into ketosis as
Yeah.
a nutritional ketosis as a vegan. And so if you can get into nutritional ketosis, even as a vegan, you will experience some health benefits. I mean, you're still going to get plant toxins, so it's not going to be as ideal, but you can experience health benefits.
All right. Terrence asks, I am 66, 138 pounds, carnivore for 2.5 months. Feel great. I want to gain weight. Always been super thin. What can I do to gain weight?
I have not been in that situation.
me neither.
At 66, oh, go ahead, Dr. Smith.
But eat more. You can still achieve the goal. You may have to eat more. We sometimes we avoid the talk about calories. It's not a perfect way to measure anything, but basically provide more energy to your body and lift heavy things or incorporate some resistance type of training.
Yeah.
You're not going to increase muscle mass unless you do that.
That's
But basically, eating more. If you're eating only once a day and you can eat twice a day, then eat twice a day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, because you obviously you don't want to gain fat. So the best thing to gain is going to be good tissue. So I agree. Yeah, lift weight, and if it's some people have trouble eating more. So if with exercise can help you improve your appetite, so maybe start with lifting, and hopefully you can then eat more after you've been exerting yourself more. But there are people who just struggle to gain weight. I just had lunch the other day while I was in Nashville with my friend Kerry from My Metamorphosis, and she's very thin, and she's always on that, trying to put on a little bit of weight.
One bit of advice that was given to me early on is don't be afraid to do body weight to start out with, right? You don't have to go lift super crazy heavy things. Body weight exercises to start out with, some squats and some things that you can do that'll work, or get some really light weights to start out with and build up, right? I mean, that you don't have to start with 50-pound weights and do the Maggie challenge, right? It's a build up, especially, where you're at today.
Yeah.
Live well, die well. Hey, Ashley, looking forward to DFW meetup September 27th.
Yay.
Cooper's Barbecue. For those of you that just joined, if you want to join the DFW meetup, there's a link in the description below with more details.
Yeah, I just got to add one more thing on that, because we've done a few meetups and it's been fun. We've gotten to know a few people. It's not super huge, maybe 20, 30 people at the most, but it's a good time. Great conversation. Just great to get to know some fellow local carnivores. So if you're in the area, definitely show up.
Denise from Ohio, what are some of the best meats for high fat content? I've been carnivore for 1.5 years, eat a lot, but I'm always hungry.
Ashley, you're the meat guy.
I'm just gonna because I just had it today, but I'm gonna go to two different ones besides ribeye, which is the obvious one. But to me, it's relatively inexpensive for your different cuts of meat. But tri-tip and picanha, or top sirloin cap, maybe what it's called in your grocery store. But they've got a great fat cap on them. Don't trim them. If you get them from the butcher, tell them don't trim your fats. A lot of times they come trimmed already. So, make sure where you're buying your meat from, ask them not to trim the fat, or sometimes they'll even give you a little of the fat that they've trimmed. So that's another tip. But
brisket
sure
also.
You're eating that fat that comes on the steaks for sure. But tri-tip and picanha.
And brisket.
And brisket, that's always a good one too.
And we were just on our call, and Healing Humanity Life, and Lash was there, and he also, that question came up. He also mentioned oxtail. He eats oxtail for its fat content. So that could be an option.
Yeah, brisket's one of my favorites. Just takes so darn long to prepare. I'd eat it every day if I could. All right, here we go with another question. Deb says, what book do you recommend for me to give as a gift to promote carnivore?
Mm.
We're going to have one out soon, aren't we, Kerry?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
That's a good question.
Killed Skeeter's Carnivore.
There you go.
Talk about
Dr.
the Healing
Berry's
Humanity
book.
book.
Yeah, Dr. Berry's book is good, although he was keto at the time.
Dr. Sean Baker's book, The Carnivore Diet, is a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. If someone has, there you go. Oh yeah, Dr. Ovadia's Sit Day Off My Operating Table.
If they've got heart concerns, this is a fantastic book. I've given this out several times, but this is really good because it's coming from a heart surgeon, right? So that really resonates if they're concerned about the cholesterol of their heart, stuff like that. Lab work can be very confusing too. And I just recently got this one. This is Dr. Berry's updated version of Common Sense Labs. And that's also something that can be really helpful for people who are trying to figure out their lab work and understand what all of it means, what's important, what's not, what even to recommend that you do to your doctor, or maybe go get labs checked yourself. This really helps explain that.
And Dr. Georgia Eads' book, even though it is for mental health, after I read it, one of the things I took away from it is, man, this is a great overall book, a resource for the carnivore diet. So I would definitely highly recommend Dr. Eads' book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind.
Absolutely. Here's one other one. My friend Kim wrote this one, Return to Simple.
I
love this book because it's all, you read it and you're like, this is so simple. It's common sense. It makes sense, especially some of those things that just someone new to carnivore has trouble wrapping their brain around. I think you read that book, it makes you understand it more. But as
That's
Ashley mentioned too,
right?
Yeah, easy read too. We're working on a book right now for Healing Humanity, and it is a book of testimonies of healing. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have found healing from different health issues, divided by chapters. So we're working on that now too. And by the way, if you want to share your story for that book, there's a link in the description below. We're probably going to have multiple versions or iterations of the book because there's so many stories out there.
And
great question.
Does Adam have I had to give mine to Dr. Berry this last week at Low Carb for Better Health. Do you happen to have a book called Breaking Addictions? Or somebody have that handy? That's one that our very own author Lynn has helped write.
It's in the office.
There it is.
Mine got moved. I came home from Nashville. My stuff was gone. My daughter's moving back in, so
that can be purchased on Amazon as well. But that is especially for those of us that have the addictive personalities. That's a great way to understand and step through success in getting rid of those and breaking those addictions.
Good stuff. Great question. Chris says, I tried to get my wife to go carnivore. She refused to try and uses Weight Watchers. Sorry, Chris. Be the example. She'll come around eventually.
You can't force people, when they're not ready.
Yeah, just be the example, like Kerry said. You can force the horse to water, but you cannot make them carnivore.
I mean, technically you can, but you probably won't be with them for very long.
Yeah. And a lot of times people on Weight Watchers, they're always hungry.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love the fact, and maybe it's nice to comment, I'm never hungry.
Or ask how many points the ribeye is that you're about to eat in front of them. And
well, Weight Watchers now is handing GLP-1s as well.
Craziness.
Which tells you a little bit about the success and sustainability of calorie restriction forever.
Oh, you're actually being serious.
I am serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
They bought a whole company to give GLP-1s.
Oh, nice.
And it's the one that Oprah Winfrey bought into as well and is promoting. They are giving GLP-1s.
Nice.
So
they've been here.
they've been promoting calorie restriction. I don't know when they started. I remember from the 60s.
Yeah.
So if their program works, why would they need to promote drugs?
That's what I'm saying.
Hunger always wins.
And Oprah was paid millions and millions of dollars and was promoting Weight Watchers for decades. And she pretty much was like, yeah, it just doesn't work now. I guess you got to use the GLP-1 now. So, but the GLP-1 will work. We were wrong about Weight Watchers for 20 years, but now we're right about this. Just trust us. Trust us.
So does the syringe come in like Lunchables snack pack thing, like on the side, like a little dessert or something?
Yeah.
Well, you have to consult. I don't know the process, but you have to consult with a physician, and they'll decide whether they'll give it to you or not. Partly if your insurance covers it, because I have some people who have tried it that way and the insurance didn't cover it, so they were asking for a lot of money.
Paul says Ozempic has 3,000 plus lawsuits currently.
I was just reading that comment. Wow.
All right. Are we ready to do our drawing?
Yeah, it's about that time. All right, we're giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. And while we're doing that, post your best question with hashtag life for the next prize we're going to give away. I'll show that in just a second. Here we go. Healing Humanity shirt in color blue goes to Leslie Lannon. Congratulations, Leslie. You've won a Healing Humanity shirt. Adam, how can Leslie claim her prize?
Well, Kerry, Leslie Lannon can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Ashley will ship you your prize promptly. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. Next up, we're going to give away 30 days free membership to healinghumanity.life. It's our membership site. We do multiple Zoom calls per week. We've got courses. We've got community. We've got doctors and experts. You know what? We had Dr. Thomas Seyfried, Professor Seyfried, on just last week. I think that was last week. So we've got doctors coming on regularly to answer your question. The goal is helping you on a path to healing. You can get 1 month free. Post your best question with hashtag life or use the promo code down below, life925, and you can get 50% off your first month. All right. Next question we have is from Kevin. Hashtag ribeye. I love dairy products like milk, cheese, and heavy cream. Oh, we did that one.
We already got that one. Yeah.
Sorry. Stacy says, can I use Redmond electrolytes?
I think they're fine. Like I know Dr. Laura Buchanan, who we've had quite often on our, Zoom calls. That's her favorite electrolyte. I think it's because it's clean.
Yeah, theirs is very clean. The flavor is not as great for me personally, but Kerry had some of that when we went to the horse track. I think that was your favorite, right, Kerry?
Yeah, not a huge fan.
Yeah, so the flavor is not that great, but the cleanliness of it is good.
Yep.
Yeah. So we did try some new electrolytes at the Low Carb for Better Health conference, which I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got Lisa. Will this way of eating fix hormonal issues? Past menopause and was doing hormone replacement therapy, but hope I won't have to take meds since turning carnivore.
What do you think, Dr. Nelson? You're muted.
My dogs are barking a little bit, so I didn't want the sound to come through. Especially if you are keeping your fats high, many women find that their hormones improve, their hormonal balance, whether they are not having periods, they're still on menstrual ages, and they're not having periods, irregular periods, painful periods, the periods get better. If you're postmenopausal, you won't see, of course, the monthly visit like Jen calls it, but you will also experience most of the time. Now, I can't guarantee that everybody's going to have the same results, but very often they get improvement.
Yeah, and maybe Dr. Elizabeth Bright would be a good one to look into because she talks a lot about, carnivore and menopause. So she's a good resource to look into.
Good stuff. Double D said, just wanted to tell you I really enjoyed your presentation last Saturday at Low Carb for Better Health Conference. Gave me encouragement to be able to heal my heart failure.
Love it.
Awesome.
That's
Thank you.
great. I'm glad you were
Appreciate
there.
it. I really enjoyed Dr. Diamond's presentation on statins. That was incredible. And Dr. Ovadia on heart. And then, of course, they were all good. All the ones I listened to, at least the second day, were really good.
But you're one who actually healed your heart failure.
Yeah. I shared a new part on the presentation, kind of sharing what my heart sounded like before carnivore and then what it sounded like after.
That was the first time I'd heard that too, and I heard several people comment afterwards how impactful that was. That was really fascinating to hear the difference before and after. Really, really incredible.
Yeah, good stuff. I hope we can go there again next year. That was a fun event. Shout out Amanda Decker, great event. Get Fit said, will my ApoB and lipoprotein A go down when I reach my goal weight? Triggs 69, HDL 129.
Wow. Sounds like a
Those
Dr.
are
Nelson question.
very good numbers. The lipoprotein A, probably not, because that's mostly genetically determined. So even though there are some strategies out there to decrease LP little a, there is nothing extremely effective. Of course, that includes the statins. The ApoB may go down, may go up. Unfortunately, with a carnivore, low carbohydrate diet, and basically you just have to measure and see if it's going up and down. Some people will give more weight to a high ApoB as associated risk for cardiovascular events. The hazard ratio for ApoB continues to be under 2. The LDL-C is 1.38 based on one study. ApoB is like 1.69. If you have diabetes, it's 11. That's almost 1,000% more. And all the metabolic diseases related to the sugars and the weight and smoking, which has nothing to do with diet, are all stronger determinants of what's going to happen. But yeah, that's the answer.
So wouldn't it be just good to get a CAC score?
Definitely. Because the numbers are just associated risks, and each one may have a different one. The circumstances, the context of everything, including insulin resistance and multiple tests, gives you an idea of if your risk is high or low. But high or low for what? Well, for developing atherosclerosis and ultimately having a major adverse cardiovascular event. So let's go and try to diagnose whether you have that atherosclerosis. The first step will be a CAC score.
Yeah, and Dr. Ovadia at the Low Carb for Better Health Conference he answered a question that someone said, like, what if my CAC score on carnivore is going up? His answer was great because he said it's not because of the carnivore diet. He recommended looking into other factors such as, heavy metal toxicity, mold toxicity, something else that could be causing your CAC score to go up. So even for people who are like concerned about their CAC score, he wants to see it not going up, but he said if it is, it's not the carnivore diet that's doing it.
Sandy with a super chat. Thank you so much, Sandy.
Wow.
I watched all the trailers for Healing Humanity. I'm stoked for the movie. And Kerry, your daughter's store looked great. Hope to buy from her store in a few months. You have a lovely family as well done on your labs. Well done on your labs. Well, thank you so much. There, Dr. Nelson's got some. Emma's store is compassionatecarnivore.store. Emma and Katie's store. And
that's what I was putting on my lips. They're chapped a little bit.
There you go. Nice. Thank you for your nice comment on the movie. For those of you that don't know what Sandy's talking about, you can watch our newest trailer at healinghumanity.movie. And please share it if you enjoy it. Or even if you don't, just share it either way. Chris Stearns. Chris, oh my
Stearns.
goodness.
Wow.
$50 super chat. Thank you so much.
Generous.
Do you find it odd that I'm always nervous to read Chris's. All right, we'll read it live here. Do you
Right.
find it odd that humans are the only species that try to lose weight on purpose? Just saying, healing takes priority over weight loss. In my journey, I know the 70 pounds I lost, I consider now as a bonus compared to the healing I've experienced.
Well, other than domesticated animals, the other species don't get overweight. It's our domestication that causes the obesity.
Well, if you've heard Dr. Kiltz enough, he always talks about this. What other animal tries to lose weight? And they are large animals, but that's the way they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And they are not going to hunt, and they have a prey and they start eating, and one says to the other, wait a second, did you reach your calorie count today? Or
Did you have your
grams
Ozempic
of
yet?
protein and fat?
Just outsmart
Yeah.
ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, we do this to ourselves, don't we?
For sure. I love the comment, Chris, because that's one of my big realizations or epiphanies on carnivore was this was nothing about weight loss. You heal your body, you'll just go down to the natural weight where you're supposed to be. It's just it's a side effect. Everyone looks at it's annoying because everybody looks at carnivore like, I don't need to lose weight, or I need to lose weight. And it's like it's healing. It's so much more than weight loss.
Yeah,
sure.
the weight loss just happens.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I got to hurry. We got a bunch of questions here. All right, here we go. Brett Rogers from Searcy, Arkansas. I've been doing carnivore since April and down 77 pounds. Congratulations.
Whoa. Wow.
How much dairy should you consume for calcium?
Now, that's an interesting one. So if you feel like you're ill or you have some kind of a deficiency or something's going on that isn't right, then most definitely go get blood work. I would say the majority of people are not going to have a calcium deficiency in this case. Usually it's more of an acute thing. You're going to have to go to the emergency room and find out, oh, you're really, really low on calcium. And they'll do what they can do in order to bring those levels back up. But yeah, blood work is going to be the key there to find out if you actually need to take any action whatsoever.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will recommend a calcium supplement if, like, say, for example, women are, going in the direction of osteoporosis because they're looking at bone health. They'll say, okay, you need to take a calcium supplement. Well, I started carnivore at age 55, and my bone density was low at the time. Never took a single calcium supplement, and just eating carnivore, my bone density now is on the upper end of the normal range. So to me, that tells me I didn't need a calcium supplement. So if you're low on calcium, I would think there's something else going on. Dr. Nelson may be able to corroborate that.
Yeah, most calcium supplements are a waste of time. They haven't been proven to improve osteoporosis or your blood serum calcium, by the way, is so strictly regulated. I mean, your body does a wonderful job together with the kidney, by the way, with the parathyroid, your vitamin D, phosphorus. I mean, the balance is tremendously regulated. Adding a pill with calcium is probably not the answer. Some studies are showing that ends up in the coronary arteries, calcifying more promptly the plaques and other problems. Get it from food.
All right. Kay Lemon, how long will it take to heal gout? Everybody's different, but for me, I had gout. I was diagnosed with gout, and then they said it wasn't gout. Then they said it was. But whatever that was for me was one of the longer things, I think around 70 days or so. I know a lot of people that have gout that do carnivore, they might have one more flare up and they kind of panic, but usually that's the last flare up for them, and then it's gone forever instead of suffering with it for years and years.
Yeah. So if you have a flare, keep going. It's very common.
Yeah. All right. And Christopher Cook asks, So you are saying some spices are high histamine producers?
Correct.
And
Yes.
then follow up, can you give some examples?
So pepper is definitely an example that I have to watch out for off the top of my head. There's some that are not a problem. Like I think turmeric's okay, but what I would, and I don't know them all off the top of my head because I really don't eat them anymore. But what I would say is if you want to know, there is a really good histamine list and it's put out by the Swiss Interest Group. So if you Google Swiss Interest Group, histamine food list. There's a PDF of the a really thorough list of and it'll tell you what's naturally like higher in histamine. There's some that are histamine liberators. There's a different categories, but it gives a whole section on spices. So you can go through that and see which ones are no problem and which ones might be a problem.
And when in doubt, don't use any.
Yeah, and salt is fine.
Yeah.
And there's some that are mast cell stabilizers. So for me, for pepper, because I don't do pepper, I have the Nigella sativa, which is black cumin seed, not like cumin the spice, but it's Nigella sativa. And I just toast it on a dry skillet and I put it in my pepper grinder, and it's kind of has a peppery taste, but it is actually a mast cell stabilizer. And so if you have histamine issues, it can actually be beneficial.
Michael asks, what are the best way to break a stall? Carnivore start 4/125, lost 40 pounds by 7/1, have been hanging there since.
So not even 3 months.
Yeah, we don't know what the rest of the journey is either. Is it just 10 pounds? Is it 100 pounds? Or
Yeah. I mean, our bodies are looking for a new set point all the time. And so I know that, and I'm working with Coach Lisa. So if you guys know Coach Lisa Pickert, go check her out. She's awesome from with Life Back System, but she definitely recommends, and this is how she helped me break my stall, is to vary, don't just eat the same thing every day, but have your days where you eat more, other days you eat less. Alter your ratios. So some days you're going to be higher fat, other days you're going to be lower fat. Sometimes she has like egg fast where all you eat is eggs. So you got to kind of keep your body guessing. And also you can incorporate some fasting if you don't do that already, at least intermittent fasting, but you can't just eat the same thing. So sometimes our bodies get used to eating what we're eating. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to find a new set point. We are always searching for that equilibrium. So you kind of keep your body guessing.
And as you lose weight and you approach, someone mentioned, we don't know what the goal is, right? As you approach your ideal body weight or where you want to be, that amount of weight loss is going to decrease. It's normal. Mm-hmm. Weight loss is not linear. And as you're approaching being leaner, your body's resistant to go beyond a certain point. There is a set point. You can break through the set point, but there is a set point. Your body will settle at one point, and you might need to wait and ride it out for weeks or months while not, because the alternative is what? Go back to eating the way you were eating before.
And it's really, really positive that you're not gaining. I try to look at that from that perspective. When I hit a stall, I'm grateful that the weight isn't coming back on, because when I was eating other diets and trying to lose weight on other diets, I'd hit a stall and then the weight would creep back up. And it does not do that on carnivore.
I mean, and honestly, don't take away from 40 pounds lost.
Yeah.
In like 3 months. That's fantastic. I mean, it's only been a couple months after that. So 40 pounds over 5 months is a great job. Huzzah.
That's more than the average.
Yeah.
Well, 40 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's more than 10 pounds a month. It's amazing.
John, Kerry mentioned that carnivore cured his squamous skin cancer. How does this happen? I don't believe I actually ever claimed that. Sorry for the confusion, but I had that in one of my presentations as something I had before carnivore. I had surgery for that. That was nothing that carnivore did. However, I will say that I believe that I could be wrong on this, but I don't think I would have gotten that if I was eating a proper human diet my entire life and proper lifestyle. So
But a lot of people do see their cancer improved on carnivore because cancer feeds off of sugar. And so when you go carnivore, you're starving the cancer. So that's kind of the mechanism behind treating cancer. Is one of the ways is you're starving it.
Question for Lynn. My tongue is swelling again. Could that be from histamine or hypothyroidism?
I mean, it could be from histamine. Dr. Nelson, maybe you can answer whether it could be from hypothyroidism.
I don't think hypothyroidism will be causing a localized swelling. Very uncontrolled hypothyroidism can cause sort of generalized swelling, but not a localized instance. I don't think so. It's more likely to be, if you have histamine problems, it is more likely to be from that. Or it could always be a new thing with anything. I mean, I don't know if you're using any spices or it's less likely to be from red meat, but it could be from other meats or other things that may be carnivore, like eggs or fish or pork or chicken or dairy. All these things could have reactions. You could have reactions to. Or medications. I don't know if you're taking any medication.
Send me a message. I know. Yes, send me a message and let me know what you've been eating. Because I mean, that is a localized, like Dr. Nelson said. I mean, that's more of an acute histamine reaction to have tongue swelling. So I'd be concerned of identifying the trigger for it. Yeah. And you may have to, really analyze what you've been exposed to, food and environment.
If you're taking an ACE inhibitor for blood pressure, that is a common thing that I've seen. Relatively common. It's not a common thing, but localized swelling in the lips or tongue, I've seen that plenty of times, but specifically from that medication or that group.
Linda, thank you. $10 super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate the super chats. Every penny from those goes towards the documentary Healing Humanity. Thank you so much. Scott says, don't you find it strange that people will say, no, I can't do carnivore. That's dangerous. Then they take their meds and eat trash instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It is a crazy world. Take medications. A lot of them are made in a factory somewhere in China. We don't know what sort of science experiment they are, but no questions asked whatsoever. Carnivore's dangerous.
Right. Right. The diet that our ancestors had forever.
Right. Scott, here we go. Let's see. Another question we have. Carnivore Cash said, I'm coaching a guy who is 90 days carnivore tomorrow, still having loose stools. He said he eats a lot of pork. I recommended more beef. And am I okay saying that? Any other ideas? He's dropped 10 pounds so far.
Yeah, it might be the pork. Pork, and again, from a histamine standpoint, pork is higher in histamine, and I can't really eat much pork at all. So it could be. That's exactly what I would recommend: is more beef, less pork. See what happens. The worst case scenario is that he learns that it doesn't change anything. Best case scenario is that he learns it's the pork.
Yeah.
And even on red meat, which is what I use mostly when I start. I still use mostly meat, mostly red meat, some chicken occasionally, but I had that problem for more than the 90 days.
Mm-hmm. He can try an ox bile supplement, or other digestive enzymes, because it's like Dr. Nelson said, there are people who the loose stools do continue on past 90 days on when they're transitioning to carnivore. So, a digestive enzyme like an ox bile, might be helpful, or he may need to be low, back off on his fat for a while. It may be an indicator that he's eating too much fat.
Angela, here's a good question. Have you had any testimonies from people with MS and carnivore? Yes, yes, and yes.
Definitely.
Diane Ladd, Boston Carnivore. I think you can look up Boston Carnivore, Diane Ladd. Emily Penton.
Rebecca Johnson, Cabana Chronicles in Europe.
Yep.
Mhm.
And even though it's not MS, very similar. Renee, who's not here today, has a similar condition. Yeah, autoimmune and the nervous system, and
Yep.
a
Eating
lot
meat.
of people actually.
I'm pretty sure when we interviewed Dave Mack for the documentary, he had 5 or 6 people with MS on his channel, and there's probably been more. So check out Dave Mack's channel also.
And they
Quite a
usually
few.
have to go high fat, like 80+% fat, to heal the nervous system.
Anything brain related, whether it's mental or neurological, I no longer divide those. Everything is brain, right? Higher levels of ketosis seem to be beneficial. Cancer as well.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. Well, we're near the end of the hour. We're going to do the final drawing for healinghumanity.life membership. Before we do that, do you guys have anything coming up you want to shout out or mention?
Well, I just want to answer one question. Ron, he's asked this like 10 times in the chat, so I just want to make sure that we address it real quick. He says, please explain how carnivore might help lupus. I can't express basically, the specifics of it, but yes, we just talked about this in our membership site, healinghumanity.life. We had a testimonial from a lady that actually has lupus symptoms in remission, and another one of our members spoke
2
about
of our members.
their symptoms were
What
very,
were
very
the
drastically
names?
improved.
What were the names?
Well, I'm not going to give out their names because they're in our private group, but
Okay.
people can join and check out the recordings
Well,
there.
I'm going to give you a name because she does have a channel. It's public. She says it all the time. Denitra Davis. Okay. Look her up. She's been in our Dr. Kilt's lives a couple of times in the past couple of months.
Mhm.
And she had lupus and is completely in remission. She has no traces. Right now, anyone tries to diagnose her with anything, not one test will show what she had a diagnosis. She's not claiming a cure, but at the moment, you cannot even detect it.
Remission is great.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I know that the people we talked to in our membership site, and the testimonial, one of the things we brought up is you need to give it the time, because not everybody sees that it goes into remission super quickly. And so the lady that gave the testimonial that you showed, that you videotaped, she had been carnivore, 2.5 years? And she was so much better, but still anticipating further healing. So you got to give it the time and to get the healing, but you absolutely can get that healing, get it in remission, at least.
And Denitra is a health coach as well, so you can search for her channel, and if you need coaching, you can do it. But all autoimmune conditions seem to have some positive benefits.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to do the giveaway for 30-day free membership, healinghumanity.life. Here we go. The winner is John Wilbur. Congratulations, John. You've won a 30-day free membership. Adam, how can John claim his prize?
Well, Kerry, John Wilbur can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will send you your access code promptly. Congratulations.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Quick shout out. You asked, and we didn't quite get to it, but the Hack Your Health, for those who are going to be there. Hope lots of you guys are going to be there. Come by and see us. We're going to be there. We want to make sure that you come by. We're going to have a booth there. We're going to have some Healing Humanity swag. We want to get this out to as many folks as possible, because the documentary is just around the corner.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your questions, and we'll see you guys next week. We do this every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye for now.
Good night.
Good night.